This review is made possible by Gerald Kia in Naperville. Gerald's outstanding staff is ready to find the perfect car for you. Whether it be new or used, your next car is waiting for you at Gerald Kia. Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2017 Kia Sportage. Up front is a 2.4 liter inline 4 and down below is a 6-speed automatic transmission. This video is sponsored by CarMarshal.com. If you'd like to support the channel, click the link down in the description below. CarMarshal.com advertises for over 100,000 vehicles across the US. But let's get back to that 2.4 liter inline 4. Well, it is a 4-cylinder. So it's not the biggest displacement ever. You're going to get better gas mileage. It is a pretty modern 2.4 liter. It's not super old yet, which I really like. It's not going to blow the doors off of a Lamborghini, but it will get you point A to point B in a decent fashion. Now, let's get it onto the test track and see what it can actually do. All right, so Kia Sportage 2017 6-speed automatic 2.4 liter inline 4. Let's put it into sport mode, baby. It's all the way up to temperature. I'm just gonna let the car shift itself. Not bad. I mean, obviously it's not going to blow you away. It is a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder in a decently large car. The engine is naturally aspirated, but with the all-wheel drive, you do sort of feel that little launch at the beginning. It does grip really well. And like I keep mentioning, it's not, going to win you an award at drag night at Route 66 Dragway. But what it will do is it'll move through traffic the way you want it to. You're going to be able to get out of people's ways. You're going to be able to merge on the highway, and that's all you could really ask for from a car like this. Like I said, paired to it is a 6-speed automatic transmission. It is not a CVT. A lot of car manufacturers are going CVT in the last couple of years, and this is not that. And last but not least about the Sportage is the fact that this particular one is all-wheel drive. And we'll talk about those all-wheel drive settings once we get to the center console. So let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have two physical gauges. On the left is my tachometer, and on the right is my speedometer with fuel inside of it, and then coolant temperature inside of the tachometer. In the center, I do get a little configurable screen. Right now, it's showing me my speed in just regular digits, but I can switch that to my trip odometer, average miles per hour, my timer, range, average fuel economy, and then we're back to my miles per hour in digits. I can also look at my audio options, service, life, user settings, and then of course we are back again to my miles per hour in digits. I like the center screen. It's a little bit on the smaller side, but that being said, it's not bad at all. It definitely gives you the information that you want, and so I'm pretty happy with it. On the steering wheel on the left, I have my button for voice controls, my mode button. So this will switch between Sirius XM, FM and AM radio, as you probably hear it turning on in the background. Then I have my phone accept and reject button, and then on the right I have my cruise control options, OK, cancel, and my options for that center screen so we can switch it up like I mentioned earlier. I like the steering wheel. It's decent. It's nothing too showboaty. It's nothing really too insane. To the left, I do have my dimmer switches and my traction control off button. And then we get to the door. The door has pretty standard window switches. Only the driver's window is auto, power mirrors, power locks, and child locks all up on the door. Then we get to the center. This is our center display. It is a touch screen, so we can go to radio, music, phone, stuff like that. It does, in fact, have Apple CarPlay, which is really nice. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are both options here in the Kia Sportage. So if you do have an Apple or Android device, which I would assume most people would at this point, you can plug it right in and get Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, stuff like that. The only reason it's gray right now is because my phone is not currently plugged in. Also, with the radios, you do get access to Sirius XM. So if satellite radio is your thing, you can access that through the center console. One nice thing is that this car does actually have a backup camera. I had to utilize it to get this car out of its spot because it was all the way parked to the front of the dealership. I had to weave my way backwards through a couple of cars. And what I really like about the backup camera is, first of all, it does have 3 different lines, so you can judge it. And when you do turn the wheel, it does turn the line, so you can kind of see the trajectory of your tires, which is really nice. But also you can see the rear bumper. This is a big deal because if you hit something with your rear bumper, you can watch it happen. I mean, if you hit something, it's your fault because you can literally see the bumper. And so if something is touching your bumper on the screen, then it's touching your bumper in real life. And no one likes getting their bumper touched. Then we come down to the actual radio settings. I like the fact that I actually still have very tactile real-world buttons. I don't like having 100% of the options in the screen. I like a good mix, and I think this actually does have a pretty good mix. We have radio, media, phone, seek, track, apps, UVO, which is just roadside assistance essentially, and then setup. Pretty simple there, nothing really too crazy. Then we come down to the climate controls, which very nice climate controls. We do have dual climate zones, recirculating, stuff like that. But I always find it so funny. I don't know why particularly Kia does this, but they put clean air on the climate controls. I don't know if that's to show that they have cabin air filters, because some cars still don't come with cabin air filters. I don't know, but previous Kias have done this as well. But we do have clean air coming out of our vents, which is of course what we want. Then I have my heated seat options. I get 3 different levels of heated seats, and that goes for the driver as well as the passenger. So the passenger also gets their own 3 levels of heated seats, and I really, really like that. Then down below the heated seats, we do have 2 12-volt chargers, 180 watts. Then the aux in and USB in for the radio. This isn't particularly a USB charger. It'll sort of hold your phone at a charge, but doesn't really do that great of a job. And so for your actual charging needs, you should use the 2 12-volt outlets. Then we come to the shifter. Nothing too crazy about the shifter. I'm not wowed. I'm not shocked. It's a shifter. It's automatic. It does the job well. You can put it over and plus minus it if you would like to do so. But down below the shifter, we have 3 very interesting buttons. So the first one is drive mode. So we have Eco, Sport, and Normal. So you'll see up on the dash, it'll actually change. So Eco comes up, Sport comes up, and Normal, nothing shows up. Then to the right of that, we actually do have hill descent control, or downhill brake control, as Kia calls it. Basically what this does is if you're coming down a really steep hill, it's essentially cruise control, and it won't let the car run away from you. It'll sort of hold the brakes or utilize the brakes so your car doesn't pick up too much speed coming down a big hill. This is normally found in off-roading cars. I've found this in the Land Rover, Range Rover, the Chevy Colorado, pickup trucks, 4x4s. And so it's really interesting to find it in a less off-road based SUV, because it's nice to have that. It's just always nice to have that. And it's nicer to have that in a car like this. Then we actually have all-wheel drive lock. So you can actually lock the car into 4-wheel drive. What you would use this for is if you were stuck in the mud, if you're in really deep snow, if you want the car to stay in 4-wheel drive and act like an older 4-wheel drive vehicle, that had the manual 4-wheel drive settings, you can actually do that here in the Sportage. And I really, really like that. It makes the vehicle a lot more usable. No, this thing isn't going to be seen climbing sand dunes or going through rivers up past the windshield, but you do have a lot more options than you do with other smaller SUVs. Now let's talk about the seats. The seats, they're fine. They're good. They're decently comfortable. They are leather. The driver's seat is power. It is very adjustable, and I like that a lot. They are not memory, though. They are heated and power, but I really can't complain. They're not uncomfortable. They're not that typical rental car hard. They are decently comfortable, and I have to say I'm pretty happy with them. But speaking of seats, let's do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2017 Kia Sportage, and honestly, it's a nice back seat. Plenty of headroom. It's a nice thing about SUVs, have that longer roof line, so you get a lot of headroom. Knee room is great. This is my driving position. My knees don't even touch the front seat. I do have an actual USB charger. This is a dedicated charger for USBs, as well as a 12-volt charger to the right. I have 2 air conditioning and heating vents, which is nice for the back seat as always, so they're not freezing in the winters and hot in the summers. Other than that, not too many features back here. I guess I get a little light But very, very nice back seats. I mean, this is really where you would want to get this over, say, a smaller SUV, is you get a lot of headroom, a lot of leg room. And although there is no third row, we'll hop back and take a look at the hatch. All right, so here is the back of the Kia Sportage. Obviously, I put the seats down. Not bad. These are the floor mats. Of course, this is a used car and stuff like that. But honestly, it's a pretty good amount of area with the seats. I don't really have many features back here. I mean, I do have speakers back here, which is kind of nice for the back seat occupants. I do have little tie-down hooks that come out if that is something you are interested in. Shut up, geese. Overall, not bad. Overall, I like the interior. I think it works well together. Nothing really stands out or really spits in my eye, and I guess you could say that that's a good thing. But let's talk about the looks. I like the look of the Sportage. I think it's different. I think it's unique. And, you know, it's not that bad of a car. This is a pretty bland color, the color silver. So it's not going to win any striking awards per se. But it's not a bad looking SUV. There are some bad looking SUVs, and this is not in that category. While we are talking about the outside of the car, this does have keyless entry, so you can keep the key in your pocket. It's just a fob, and you can press a button to get in, as well as to get the car started. It is just a button, so you don't ever really have to take the key out of your pocket if you don't want to. Overall, I have to say I'm pretty happy with the Kia Sportage. I mean, this thing really, really blew my mind in a couple of different ways. I think the car, after looking at it for longer, I think the car looks a lot better than I originally gave it credit for. It's a nice smooth ride. It's not super powerful, but it has enough power. It has enough technology. Apple CarPlay, I think, is a huge game changer. The fact that it had it in 2017, absolutely awesome. And so overall, I actually have to say I am pretty happy with this car. There's not too much I can really knock it for. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Gerald Kia for letting me take out their Kia Sportage. This thing is really, really cool, and I'm really excited to start working with them. They have an absolutely awesome dealership. The people there are the nicest people you will ever meet, and that is super exciting to me. If you guys are interested in purchasing this car, I will leave a link to it in the description down below. If it has already sold by the time this video comes out, which is likely because Gerald Kia moves cars, I'll leave a link to their website. They have tons and tons and tons of used cars. If Kias are not your thing, then still take a look at their website because they have literally tons of different makes and models on the lot at all times. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys. Aside from my soul, aside